Hi guys, I'm here with my 2009 Mini Cooper. It's time for an oil change, and I've been reading on what oil I should use. Um, Probably jump right out and would think it would be 5W30 or even 10W30. But let me show you what kind of happens when my car gets really hot. I did a video on that. When it gets really warm, the oil pressure drops. So let's go to those videos. Okay, I'm in my 2009 Mini Cooper, and a ways back I did thermostat assembly install replacement, and I got to get all the air. I had to get all the air out of the engine coolant, but it actually runs a lot hotter than normal than I'm used to. So right here, it's on my gauge. It shows about a little over like 210. And then oil pressure is around 20. Then looking at my OBD2, around 195. So I know that if I get the car all the way up to temperature about 210, 215, the pressure drops about to 15 psi, almost down to 10. So what I'm going to do is do an oil change and do some other stuff to see if get a different type of oil and see if I could improve the oil pressure a little bit when the engine's hot. So let me drive around and get the temperature up a little bit hotter. Okay, drove to the store and back, so the car is fully warmed. Here it says I'm about at 230, but I think this one reads a little bit high on this temperature gauge. But the key thing is I'm dropping slightly below 10 psi right there, so it's flashing. This one, OBD2, is reading 215, so that's probably more the true temperature than the analog gauge. But what I'm really concerned is about the pressure dropping here down to about less than 10 psi. This didn't happen until the engine gets really warm. It drops lower in pressure, so I'm going to try using a little thicker oil, try to do a little research and see which oil might work best. So we're going to give that a shot. So you can see from the video, when my car gets really warm up to 220 degrees, oil pressure kind of drops below 10 psi. So before I installed did the oil change, I did 5W30 with Castro, so I've been reading a lot on what kind of oil I can use, what's best, and actually understanding what the numbers mean. So there's a couple of articles out there. This one's called Oil Viscosity and Weight Explained with charts to pick the right one. This was last updated in July 2021 by Jack Harris. Has a lot of information, explains the numbers. It's a good read. Then the other one I was reading was this one, which is caught by Car Care Ninja. It looks at the difference between 5W20 versus 5W30, and it's actually really interesting. It helps get a little bit of background information. So I kind of went into my manual, and there's the manual for 2009 Mini Cooper. The approved oils are 0W40, 0W30, 5W40, 5W30. So what I had in there is 5W30. So I think from my reading, I'm going to go with a little heavier oil, so that way it's not so, doesn't thin out so much during the high temperatures. So this is what I picked up. It was on sale, Mobile One. Gonna go with 0W40. But at the same time, I saw this, bought this from Pelican Parts. It's called ATS Chemical 505 CRO Oil System Treatment. Now this one's actually just a treatment. It's not actually an additive. So basically you just add it to the engine and drive it around for 10-15 minutes. Then you go ahead and do your oil change. So I was going to add this in right before. So it's kind of strange. This right here for professional use only, but you can buy it online for about 20-25 bucks. And the oil system treatment is designed to add it directly to the motor oil. So basically add it in, and what it does is supposed to drive around for 10-15 minutes, and then it cleans carbon deposits from the engine, reducing problems with sticking piston rings, sticking lifters, sticking stuff from all the sludge in there, and also ends up cleaning out the oil screens where it does on the pickups. So I also try this. Couldn't find any reviews on this, so I guess we'll see how this works. I was trying to figure out, how do you actually know this stuff is working? Because you pour it in, then you do your oil change. I don't have a dyno, or I'm not going to actually tear my engine apart to look at the pistons or anything. So I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is drain a little bit of the oil ahead of time, and then do the treatment. Then when I do the oil change, I'll grab some of that and see if there's any difference. It might not be, or there might be. Well, we'll see. Okay, I got my 2 containers. I'm gonna fill this up with oil before I do the treatment, and that one I'll fill up with after the treatment. I got my car up on ramps, got my stuff to change the oil. I'm not gonna do a video on changing or draining the oil or whatever, because I already did a video on that. So right now I'm just going ahead and drain enough to probably fill this up 3/4 of the way. Then I'll pour the stuff in. Okay, there's my before sample, and it's pretty dark, but it's pretty thin too. Last time I changed it was probably January of last year, but haven't been driving the Mini as much due to the pandemic. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour that oil treatment in and drive around for 15 minutes. Okay, here we have, just looking at it again, 505 CRO oil system treatment for gas and diesel engine. Just add to engine oil. So let's go ahead and do that. It's clear color. So most likely this is just a cleaner to help break down the sludge off your components, and then mix it in with your, this stuff stinks, mixes in with your engine oil. Then when you do your oil change, rapid drive for 10-15 minutes, should clean out all the sludge. Okay, I did my 15 minutes of driving, so I'm back and the car is fully warmed. So here I can see from my OBD2 reader, I'm at 217 around, right before the thermostat is supposed to open up. And then you can see, this is what I'm concerned about. My oil pressure, actually after putting it's not an additive, the treatment, my oil pressure actually drops close to 0 psi. And actually today's not too hot, so it's 72 degrees outside, and actually the pressure was dropping down to maybe to 5 psi, even when it was only about, the car was only about probably 180, the coolant. And then my analog is reading, this one always reads higher, it seems like, so I'm reading around almost 230 here, so it's like 10 degrees higher than this one. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and go with a little thicker oil, because I think my car has about 113,000 miles on it. Probably some wear has gone on in the engine, so the gaps have opened up a little bit more. So we'll go with the thicker oil and see how that performs. And so I'm going to go ahead and let the car cool down, and so I'm burn myself changing the oil, and go ahead and change the oil in another car. Okay, I'm done with the oil change, and on the left side here is the oil before I did the oil treatment, and the right side is after the oil treatment when I drained it. It's hard to tell, they're both black. This one looks sludgier, darker a little bit. Maybe the sludge came out. Let's do that again. I know when I was draining this one, this had a strong smell of chemicals, cleaning chemicals, like Lysol, that kind of really strong chemical smell. So what I'm going to do is take the car out and see if it get up to temperature. Okay, I started the car. Reading about 160 my coolant temperature, and my pressure's about oil pressure's about 40 psi. This thing's still trying to connect, so hopefully it connects by the time I'm caught up getting the engine fully warmed. Okay, I think I'm pretty close at temperature, or just slightly below it, because this one is reading 212, but this one's reading 230, which is a little high, and my oil pressure is hanging in there. It's at right below 20 psi, and I'm doing pretty good. So let's see if I could drive a little more and do one last check when I get home. Okay, I'm back. Oil pressure staying a good 10 psi or slightly above that sometimes. Sometimes goes up to maybe 15. My temperature on my analog says I'm at 240, but I think I know that reads high. My computer temperature says it's 215.6. So as long as there it goes, it's close to 10, so that's why I set the alarm to start flashing at 10. So I think it's running a little bit better. It's the pressure's a little bit better, so I'm good with that. Okay, so it's August, and it's probably still be warm for at least a month or two, so it'll be getting cold pretty soon. So I think I'm okay with the 0W40. I'll see how that does in the winter, and I think it's I'm getting a little better oil pressure than I was before, and I did so many different things, three different things, so I'm not sure what actually made it work better. I did the oil system treatment to flush out any sludge or clean out the pickup for the oil out of the pan, and I changed to a 0W40. I was at a 20W30, no, 10W30. I think it was a 10W30. So the car has over 100,000 miles, so maybe going to a thicker oil actually works a little bit better and give me a little better oil pressure. So just keep an eye on your oil pressure. Just make sure you're not running low during idle and when your car gets hot. So thanks for watching.